Hi there, I'm Bonnie, Log Cabin Stitcher. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my sewing room. You could follow my sporadic posting on Instagram at Bonnie Log Cabin Stitcher. I just finished my last FlossTube video and I talked for an hour and didn't finish uncovering my table. So I'm going to wait a few days to post this so you don't get overwhelmed because I am so sporadic. My work schedule is on call, so my life is sporadic. But I didn't even get a chance to share with you all my whips, and I have been stitching a lot. So I showed you on my last FlossTube my finishes. So this was one of them. You want details, go back and look at that one. Hand-dyed fabric, coffee dyed. Another one, a freebie pattern, the same piece of hand-dyed. Those are two of the things that I shared about. So go visit me if you didn't already. And after I talk for an hour, I have a hard time continuing, but the light's coming in. I really prefer the simplification of not using my box lights, and so the light's going to come in. And so we're just going to go with it. I am not going to push stop, because I'm going to clean the table off because I have project bags that I need to start working on. So let me share with you what I have been working on. Part of what I am doing, so the last several floss tubes, I have shared I went from hunter-gatherer is what I called my first year of floss tube. Now it's stitch what you got. So that's what I've been trying to do. Now, it doesn't mean I'm not going to buy anything, because I just showed some of the fun things that I found at Hobby Lobby to go with the stitching that I've been doing for fall and Christmas. So there's that. And then I did buy a few things, but I'll tell you my excuse for doing that. But it's just, it's a whole different framework, and I'm really enjoying that. So I'm enjoying not the mass buying as much as I would enjoy that, but I'm also enjoying looking at the mass stuff that I bought and finding the joy in just stopping and stitching that. So my foot is itchy. I am between, I was going to sit and have a cup of coffee in between floss tubes, and I thought, no, the light's going to come in. So I took Riley for a walk outside and got something sticky on my foot. Okay, so I've been looking through what I have, and I'm kitting up some things that I have and looking at my beautiful box. Here's something fun that I just realized. So I've shared this is my fun box. I've had this for a long time. I enjoy looking just at the box, but the top looks like linen, which is so cool because it's my beautiful box of linen. So sometimes this is jammed full, but this is what I've been doing in my goal of stitch what you got. Instead of trying to find the linen that the project may have called for, or one that I would want, I'm looking through and seeing what I have and making it work. Instead of having this thing that I have to do what it calls for, or I have to do what I saw my friend stitching it on, I could think, okay, I bought all this stuff because I wanted it. Let's make it work. And then the other thing is I am learning about myself. So a year into stitching, I've tried different linens. Like I love watching my friends and I see the linens that they share. Well, dye lots change, video quality changes, and taste changes. So my taste is primitive. I like dark. And so some of the linens that I got that were lighter that my friends were stitching on, I decided to coffee dye them. Some I tea dyed, and so I'm going to share that with you. But here's the concept that I have, because inflation is here. I don't think anyone can deny inflation is here. Everything is going up. And so that means my fun money is very, very little. And so I am having fun changing up stuff that I spent money on before. So here's something that I did. So in this, because I'm working through my pile, let's show you some of the coffee dyeing that I did. So I just shared on my last video it's delicately in here, but this is a finish, not a fully finished because it's just kind of popped in this frame. This is Cosmic Platinum by Dames of the Needle. I am intrigued with this flecking that is on here, and I love that. So I love this linen. Now I looked up, because even though I'm like, oh, I don't need to buy anymore, I thought, oh, I need to buy more. Well, I just happened to go online and look, and I just searched 36 count, because that's what I like. 36 Cosmic Platinum Dames of the Needle. A couple stores did have it, but it was a little bit more motley. Then it was like a lot of that, and I thought, let's just use what I have and see what I can do to make some of my own. Well, I had some linens that were lighter, and I was playing around. So I was driving to work one day, and I thought, how can I come up with that flecking? Oh, let me get a drink. Oh, look at, and this mug, see, it has flecking on there too. I like flecking. How can I come up with that kind of flecking and that color? So I was just playing around with ideas in my head, and I thought, well, I have this tea. I had bought this Rooibos, that's how I say it, Rooibos tea, Madagascar vanilla, and I bought a lot when it was on sale, and I'm less in love with it than I was at the beginning. This is the last box I have. Now, I made a strong cup of tea. So this is from one of the days that I had it. I've had it a second day too. But you can see, look at, it is a reddish. So when I make the tea and drink it, it's a soft pink. So I thought, what will it be like if I make it really strong? And so I wasn't shy about using this because I'm less in love with it, and I got it really cheap. And then I'm going to show you something that I used, but it's not cheap and I love it. Let me just show it you now. Okay, because this is just me. This is just me talking. And I will show you all my whips. So if you want to fast forward through me showing the whips, you go for it. So I had won a giveaway from Sylvia Running with Scissors, and she sent a goodie box of chocolate and snack treats from Germany. And the thing that I left to the end, because I like tea in the wintertime, was this Rooibos, but it's caramel flavored. I'm not usually one who tries to get artificial flavors. So I thought, I'm just going to enjoy this, and that will be it. And okay, so I got to my last cup of tea, and I'm in love with it. It is absolutely delicious. And in my crazy, I'm craving, I'm a food addict, so I'm craving food, I'm craving coffee, and craving sweet. So the one thing, this is empty, but the one thing, this is wonderful. It's expensive to try to get it here in the United States, but it fits the bill for me. And so I will have that instead of having more coffee. I will have that, and I will have that instead of eating food. So that was my thing. And so I had found it, I had searched it out, and I did find that Amazon had it for the least expensive. And just in case anyone wants to try that too. So just to show you again, this is what it is. And you know what? I put this in there, and I typed in that as well. And I found it on Amazon. It was $8.99 a box for a box of 20. And I thought, okay, I'll get one box and it'll be fine. And so I just waited and waited, because I thought, I'm going to wait till I get to the end of the box and see if I still love it. Well, I did. And I was having that last cup of tea, and it was on a weekend, and I just went and looked. I thought, okay, I'm going to get it. It was on sale for $6.99, so I bought 5 boxes, and so it's on its way. So hopefully I will love it for 5 boxes worth. But I thought, oh, I've got my tea. So that was fun. I was going to make, so all that to say, I was thinking, because when you make that tea, it's a light caramel color. And I thought, whoa, what if I make that really super strong, and then I get that caramel flecks on the linen that I was going to dye? Well, I didn't. I went to brew it to use it to dye, and I thought, oh, I can't. I can't. And so I brewed it regular and drank it. But I used the grounds of the tea bag, but it didn't quite do the thing. So going back to, that's why I was more generous with this, because it was cheap and I'm less in love with it. So I took, this is what I did with it. So this is, okay, so this is with the sun coming in. Probably not the best time, but I am not going to stop this video. You can see, I think, oh, if I put something behind it, that was what I could have done. Okay, let's do this. Here we go. So this is it. Yep, that's it. Okay, so it is a soft reddish color, similar to that. There we go. Similar to the Cosmic Platinum, just not as grungy, which I could grunge up. But what I did was I made that super, super strong. And you can see it dyed this dark, dark, dark red. So I can keep playing around with it if I want. Right now, tea dye and coffee dye is my thing. So I did that. So I took Winter Moon, that's Celeste's favorite linen. So I got, you can get these small pieces of linen at 123 Stitch. It's like $6.50. So it was already a light, soft Winter Moon. It looked like just a little hint of a yellow. And so I tea dyed that. So now I have a piece of linen. So I am dyeing my own linen from something that I already had. Because remember, stitch what you got. So it is sort of in the line of that. Oh, there you can see it better. Sort of in the line, but not the flex. I didn't get the flex, even though I broke one of those tea bags open and I rubbed it on that linen as I put it in the oven. So Kristy, Daisy K's Primitives, coffee dyeing demonstration. Search it and you will find it and you will watch it and study it and write it down and do it. So that's what I did. And then I put it in the oven, you know, as it says, for 10 minutes. And that was just one dunk. So I write the notes on there of what I did. Well, then I had another one, and it was a 36 count Tyco Edinburgh linen, and it was really super light. So this was my, oh, tea grounds. Okay, so I did the coffee dyeing. So I also, one day I started playing and I started dyeing. That was the day I did that kind of light rust, light red linen. And then I needed to go to work, but I left all my stuff out and it had been in the sun on the dining room table and it was a sunny day. So all that stuff, all my coffee dye was left out and the tea. And it was in the sun, so that degrades it and it's not going to last as long. So what I had done the day that I did this one is I just threw there was like 3 different containers, kind of like when you dye Easter eggs. There was 3 different glass containers. I just dumped them all in together, dunked this baby in, and so I have a pretty dark, so one side, usually one side is darker. See the flecks though, that's the tea grounds. See those, I wish that could stay on. And I had a tool when I used to do my woodwork, and it was like a bristle brush with a metal rod, a little tiny metal rod. And you would flick it and you would do what was called fly specking. So it looked like little fly poops on your paint. It was a country thing. And I thought, oh, I hope I still have that tool. And I may use watered down paint and try it on some cheap linen. I may try it. So because I do primitive, I can get away with a lot. But I would really, really like to figure out how I can get these flecks on there. So that is just going to come off because those are just, I used coffee grounds. I used tea grounds. I put some stuff just outside on the concrete. I did stuff in because I just needed to finish stuff up. So this is one that I dyed twice, I'm pretty sure. Yep, and it was the caramel tea grounds and the coffee grounds. So it got pretty dark, but it's what I like. So it's kind of molted, but I am having fun because I'm really seeing that I like the primitive. So this was one, with this one, I liked this so much. If you can see the discoloration. Well, I had a linen that I had shared about on another video that was very, very light that I got, and it was 32 count. I'm less in love with 32 and I love 36. So it was a big piece of 32 count that I got, and it was 32 count smoky white. I don't know who makes it, but I got it for sale. It was on sale at the Kitten Stitcher, and it was just lighter. It was way too white for me. I like all the darker colors. And so I decided, well, since I liked that piece of linen so much, and I still have some, I want to do some more. So I took that other piece and I did more. I didn't iron this one though, so I just need to iron it, but I love it. I like how it stitches up. One side, this will be lighter than this side. This one I think I only did once, and I leave it kind of crinkled up, and that's what I did, is I took this whole piece of linen dry. I put it in the coffee dye. Was it just the coffee dye? Maybe it was the one where I threw everything together. I don't know. I was just getting I just needed to wrap it up and clean the kitchen up. What I think I may have done is crinkled that whole piece up. It's really, really light. Put it in and let it soak up as it was crinkled, because I wanted that molted look. So I wanted that look, and then I let it absorb, and then I spread it out on my cookie sheet, and then I put it in the oven to let it dry. Or maybe that day I needed to wrap it up and I just put it on the concrete outside in the sun to dry. But I really like how that looks, and I like how it looks on the finished project, because I'm calling it modeled. Sometimes I call it molted, but I like that modeling. Now, I had some mystery linen when I first started. I went to my L&S Needles and Niceties, and I bought, I think this was 25, it looked like burlap. It was 25 count. It was really light. See, it was more light, but I wanted to grunge it up, and I just thought, what would happen? Because I want to do some wool applique, and I like using different backgrounds for the wool applique. So I just thought, I'm going to grunge it up. And so I got coffee, and I threw the coffee grounds in, and I was just getting it grungier, and it smells delicious. And so I used up all that I had. It was all gone by the time I was done, but I got some really grungy looking linen. So this side is less grungy, that side is dark. It smells so good. But I just had a big piece of it, and see, lighter. What will I use it for? I don't know, but it's what I'm enjoying. And so this is what I start with. Like, this is a 36 count. I got this at 123 Stitch. This is the 36 count white Zweigart. I believe you can buy 32 count. That's where I got the 32 count white Zweigart at Hobby Lobby. Then I also have this. It's a light khaki, and it's very, very light. It's a light color, and I got a big piece of it. When you go to the Needles and Niceties, you can just buy whatever piece you want. So this is the piece that I have, and it's yellow. And at one time, before we painted our house recently, which is more grayish green tones, we did candlelight. So I'm kind of over the whole yellow candlelight thing. So I thought, but I got bored. So I was bored and I was done. So I thought, okay, I'll save it, and maybe I'll use it as it is, or maybe I'll play with some tea or coffee dyeing again. Now this was another one, 28 count fog cashel linen. I remember Kristy from Crosshatch Quilts talking about it. So again, I just bought a small piece and I played with it, and it was much lighter than I wanted, and it was a 28 count, which I'm not going to want to do. I have the lighter side and the darker side, and look at, sometimes it has like a finish on it, and it does these weird swirls. So I thought, oh, kind of cool. But I can also, if I decide I want to lighten it up, what Kristy recommended is that, oh, see, after all that talking, Kristy recommended that you can rinse it, and some of that color will come out. So if I decide that I need something that's a little bit lighter, I'll just rinse it and it'll be done. So that was what I did with playing around with tea grounds, with coffee grounds. I also did some just leftover coffee. So you can just do what you want. If you have something inexpensive and you want to play with it before you stitch on it, that's what you do. If you wait and you do it after you stitch on it, you have to make sure it is color fast. So that's why I would use Anchor or DMC. And I have quite a few that I've done that way. This way, I just wanted to do it different because my favorite thread to stitch with is overdyed cottons. And I like Weeks and I like Gentle Arts. Those are two of my favorites. And Colorworks CC. Classic Colorworks. That's another one. So one time, and this was a while ago, I had a linen that I got. It was 36 count vintage sugared ginger linen. And I remember the video that I did, months ago, maybe not a year ago. And when it came in, I thought it was a darker color, but when it came in, it was kind of like, it should have been called, I think I called it like, it should have been sherbet or something. It was super, super bright orange. Not my thing. So I just thought, well, what'll it look if it coffee dyes? Mailman's here. Riley's going to be barking. This is what it looked like. So it got dark and I thought, well, what can I do with it? So it's a darker one. So I started, because when I have a finish, I have a new start. So I finished the, so when I finished the Christmas stocking, I started a new one. So this is one that I had. And again, I'm trying to use what I had so that this fall, when I was starting my fall stitching, instead of buying new patterns, I looked at what I had and then I chose my thing. So I had already had this. So it was Autumn's Bouquet. And I told a story about the love that I have for gray squirrels like we have at our cabin. So this is going to go up at the cabin. But this is fun. But this, even though this looks very, very light, so I was going to use probably that fog and stitch it, but I thought, I don't want it that light. I want it darker. So I was not sure because these are the colors. These are the colors. So this is the squirrel, Confederate Gray and Toasted Barley. Well, those are awfully light for the gray squirrel. So I wanted to choose a linen, and then the Legacy that I had is darker and kind of more green than another, and it wasn't going to show up, and I thought, I want to save that, I want to save that Legacy for another project. So I was auditioning all these linens to see what was going to show up, and I decided I wanted to use this linen because I had it, and I wasn't sure if it was going to show up, but it is. It's a little different than I was thinking, but I want to finish it up and just see how it is. It's pretty quick stitch. So the gray I was trying, so this is the Confederate Gray, and I thought, well, that's awfully light, and our gray squirrels are darker. I get hung up on doing the color exactly appropriate to that darn squirrel. Well, I don't need to. So I just wanted to test. So this was Confederate Gray, and then I tried to use, what was I using? I pulled out Pamlico, Weeks Pamlico, Pamlico, that I had. And then I thought, oh, no, that might be too dark. So this is Toasted Barley. I've almost finished with the tail. I forgot that part. Toasted Barley is showing up. So I've got to decide. Our squirrel is darker, but I'm going to go ahead and stitch the rest of it up, and then I'm going to decide, do I want it the light or do I want it the dark? But I'm doing all the other colors called for. So that's one of the projects that I'm working on but that's why I wanted to show you what I've been doing, because with my Stitch What You Got, I want to use what I have, and if I don't like what I've got, dye it. That's a bad word. Play with it and make it something that I like. So we'll see how that's working out. Here's another one that I got some work on this weekend. So this is, and this is, I need to clear this table off because I am ready to make some more project bags tonight. So this is one that I've been working on. This is a freebie, Stone Street Stitchworks. This is called Thank Wool. I was going to try and do all my own overdyed colors, and then I had shared, it's giving me anxiety trying to find all those perfect colors because I'll stitch it and unstitch, and I thought, it's beautiful in the DMC. just do it in the DMC. So when I put those DMCs all together, I thought, oh my word, those are beautiful. The first couple are the ones that I already started doing. Yep, these were already my over dyed, so I'm sticking with those. The rest are DMCs, so they are beautiful. And it has been so much more relaxing just doing what they tell me to do. I usually don't do what I'm told, so this is pretty cool. This again is that favorite linen, Cosmic Platinum Dames of the Needle. So, and it's kind of fun because it looks like tweed. To simplify it, it could be just that turkey body, all one color. The tail, because I chose to do the red first, and then I didn't have that second red, and then I did the, I did that yellowish color. It would have been, and I was trying to watch TV, it would have been a whole lot easier just to do that, all that yellow first, but it was a mess. This pattern, because of all the changing colors, it has been very hard for me to do while I'm watching. I was watching Doc Martin and I really wanted to pay attention, even though we've seen it over and over. This one was really complicated for me for the tail, but I am enjoying it. So I'm looking forward to getting that done, and I probably will make it a needle book. So probably have a needle book. Yep, that's the way. So I can open it right. But then again, this is like my favorite. I have so many favorite linens. This is all I have left now. So if I do that needle book, I use this up. So, but I will enjoy it. But I get to the thing, I do this with my fabric. I have tons of fabric for my quilts and I treasure it. So I value that and I don't waste any scraps, and that's what I'm doing with these favorite linens that I have. So that has been very fun. And I am doing better at just using what they call for. Oh, here was the, okay, so this was the piece, a little bit darker. So this is the one, this is the piece that's from that. So it's kind of fun to see how it turns out. But again, I am very much enjoying the freedom of stopping the buying, use what I have, and dyeing what I have to make it work. So that's what's going on. Oh, what was that? Oh, this was another one. I had a small piece of bramble. I could have done the squirrel on this, which would have looked a little bit more appropriate maybe, but the gray just didn't show up. So that's why that was in the pile. Okay, this is what else I've been doing. Finally getting some work. Oh, I love project bags because I love playing with fabric. Now this is my Oh Joyous Day, and I had done a hashtag Joy Nevertheless. I started this project November 3rd last year, and that's the anniversary of the day of my mom's death. And so I will be stitching this again on November 3rd. And I'm finding I'm not a good stitch along host. I'm very sporadic at it, but I love this chart, and I'm gonna stitch Joy Nevertheless right there, because that's, if you know me, that's how I close out my videos, and that was my mom and I, that's what we talked about, Joy Nevertheless. And I got some progress done. I got the whole pink house done. So I really, really love that. That's red pear. And I love that color. So I got 2 houses done since I have seen you guys last. So I'm making some progress, and this is Wren, and I'm seeing, like, I'm not yet a sampler girl with all the reproduction samplers that people are doing, but I'm being drawn into it. I like the instant gratification of the smalls, and there's just certain color palettes I like. So I've got this one and I love it. So that's my progress that I've been making on that, and very happy with it. I find I like instant gratification, so smalls fit my bill. Okay, I'm making progress on this one. See, oh, isn't that cool? Look at this. That's the backing. This was the backing on this guy, Nancy Halverson. I had a lot when I was new to quilting, I was fascinated with Nancy Halverson. I bought lots of fat quarter bundles. Okay, so we're making progress on this guy. This is another piece of hand dyed. So coffee dyed linen. This one is Basket of Cheer, Notforgotten Farm. I switched this out, and it's DMC, so some of them I'm doing DMC. But this one is Country Redwood, and it is a fantastic red. You can see it gets very dark, and then it gets a medium red. I love it, but then the rest of it I'm going with mostly the DMCs. So this one I already have the fabric picked out for the backing, and this is it, Notforgotten Farm, Good Cheer. And I'm trying to decide. I chose a white, so just the DMC Blanc, very, very bright white. So I think I am doing, because this isn't really showing up on here, but it's just the picture. But I was trying to decide, do I want to do that a different color, or do I want to do that the white up top? And the white's going to show. So making progress, because I really want to get that done. So I have I want lots of smalls done for Christmas. So that's where I'm trying to balance out stitching things up so I can get those done. Now here's this is Garden Time, an old pattern, but Brenda Gervais. So in here is my Winds of Autumn. So where is that guy? On the video that I just did, I showed my finish of where did I throw it? No idea what I did with it. I finished, mine came apart, so we're just leaving it apart. Okay, I have my finish now on, what was it? Okay, so I did my finish. It has different colors, but it's on that last video. Maybe I already put it somewhere. Anyway, that was a finish. Hooray! And then Celeste just finished. Celeste from Celeste Creates, Jen from the Naughty Oak on Instagram, and I started this guy, Mighty Oak. We have so remember, I'm not a good stitch along host. Acorns 2, the number 2, Oaks, SAL. That's what our SAL is, but I've been MIA from that SAL. So there we have, that's that. And here we go. Light's coming in. But I got this done. So I got that whole Schneckly. I don't know how you say it. Schneckly? Whatever it is. It's cool. I love that house. I'm doing 1/2, usually on 36. Almost always 1/2, unless it's something that needs a deeper color. So all this is 1/2, except for I stitched this whole door. I think that's chestnut. It wasn't dark enough, so I took it all out and I did it 2/2. The rest is 1/2. So I'm anxious to get that going. And I love working on this at the cabin, because I have a video that I did in the summertime at the cabin, and it has a picture of me in a pink shirt. And that's where I showed my Mighty Oak. That's where I started stitching it. So I love stitching this at the cabin, because I look out the window and I see our Mighty Oak, what's left of it. It made it through the fires. That's how close the fires came to our cabin. I think it was 03, 04. But part of it burned. But anyway, our Mighty Oak is there. Then, because I love that oak so much, we may need to cut it down, because part of it fell last year. And it's not technically on our property. And either way, if it fell on my car, where I park it there, insurance wouldn't cover it. So we may need to cut part of it down or all of it down. But I love that oak for right now. And I'm careful how I park. But so I love to that's where, when I do oaks and acorns, I always think of my favorite tree there. Well, I love everything. I love everything in this book. Now, I have shared that I really don't do Halloween stitching, but I've loved this. And we have owls, and oh my word. So I started this guy, but I'm not doing it spooky. But you know what, it's funny because I was going to do this in like the colors of the trees. Well, the owls come out at night, and that well, really our pine tree, we have little small owls that will be out there, and then we also have large owls. So we have seen the large owl. I've only seen it 3 times. So one time we took a walk down by the creek, and we're always careful because that's where the bear likes to go. And I have my little Riley, which is like walking with a fishing lure. So I'm always like on edge when we go down this beautiful path down by the creek by our cabin. And we were walking down there, and then all of a sudden we kind of jumped back because there was this huge owl on the ground, and it took off flying, and it's covered with trees. It took off flying, and my husband and I are like, it was so big. Where we went to a barbecue at some friend's house up in the mountains, and we were driving back, and over on the other side of the hill, we were driving at night on our bumpy dirt road, and an owl took off, and it was the big owl. It took off, and I thought, oh, I should have gone home. Oh, but we went to the cabin, we picked up Riley, and we had to head home because we had to go, Kurt had to work the next day. But I want to do this. And is it called for? Yes, it's called for tin roof. Now, what I'm going to do, because I'm not going to do it spooky, let's kind of leave all this together. I wanted to do it, so whatever color it's called for that in black coffee. Well, I thought, well, I want to do it, but I want to do it more the colors of just an evening sky. But oh, I love tin roof. So I thought, okay, how is that? Yeah. Oh, I can't wait to stitch it. So the tin roof is beautiful. And it was so cool because we just got to get away. My husband's been working a lot, which we're grateful. We are very grateful for. But we just got away for 24 hours. So the one night that we were up there, I love stitching late at night. And so I turned the lights off. I got in bed and I opened up the window so I can look out at night. Because what I see out, except for the owl, looks like that, where I see the dark sky. A lot of times the moon, that's where the moon comes over. That's why this is just perfect for me. And usually it's a blue sky. But that night, as my eyes were adjusting to the dark, and I love to lay there, and we have a big window, and I just look out there because I'm so grateful that we're able to be at the cabin. Anyway, I thought, oh my goodness, the sky that night looked just like the tin roof. It was just so weird because usually I don't notice it that's color. So I'm going to do it more just like a night sky, but with our owl there. But the moon, because of the colors, and of course that's beautiful in the yellow, but I'm going to do it more probably like a shaker white or straw bonnet, more where it's a white, an off-white looking. And then I was telling my husband, I said, what color do those oak leaves, because right now the oak leaves are gorgeous yellow. They're gorgeous yellow, light orange, a little bit of green. And it was night sky, and it was like, oh, that's so boring. It is one solid color. So I am probably going to do it one solid color like this, but I'm going to do it with our cabin. But anyway, all that to say, I had fun playing with how I want to do it, but with that story of that tree and our owl. And I was telling my husband, you know, this lifestyle that we've enjoyed with having the cabin, even though it's a tremendous amount of work that needs done on it, and I was sharing in the last video how primitive it is right now up there because it's under construction. It is a dear, dear place to us, and it's a lifestyle. So I was telling my husband it's going to be pretty sad when we need to sell it because it's not an old people's cabin. It's rough up there. So when it's time for us to sell it, is that going to be sad that I have so much log cabin stuff? But it's in my heart, and I think about it all the time, and I love it, and I've got it. If it makes me sad, I'll give the stuff away as gifts. So there you go. But it's fun to have it's fun to have the stuff and stitch it when it's special. I keep all these things in here together. All these colors are all the projects. I think I'm going to make almost every single project in here. So I'm just going to keep all this stuff together and work through all the projects that I have in there. What else do I have that I've been doing? So this is why I needed to break it up, because it's been so long, guys. I had shared in my last video that I did 2 attempts in the last week and a half to get this video done, and it just didn't work out with my schedule. So I shared in the last video, go check that out please, about all my love of stitching boxes. And you got to be really careful when you buy these at these stores, because they're cheap, but there's a reason why they're cheap. So I'm either going to repair this or just replace it. But I shared about this. So think about this. And the video before, I was talking about choosing, because I'm fascinated with stitching boxes right now. The project that I'm stitching from is And Blossom as the Rose, but this is it. But it's, so this is the one from Hobby Lobby. And if you look at this, very much, so the color that they recommended, I didn't get that one. I got aloe vera, Americana paint. I painted it, sanded it, and then I have the brie wax. They recommend light brown. I am using the one that I have. I have Tudor brown. So I am using that, the brie wax. But look at that, and I'm going to do this project. But I'm not doing that flower in Schneckly. So this is about that same size as that project. So the problem is the color that it calls for is caper. I'm not a fan in this project. I'm not a fan of how that caper is showing up. But you know, it's not bad, and maybe I just need to get over it. But I was thinking, this is Garrison Green, and look at how it goes so much better with that. So I may unstitch this. This is Schneckly. This is caper. So I may replace it with Garrison Green, but that's the project that I'm doing. So I've got, these are the colors. Oh, because I have, again, these are similar. So I've got a project going from Sewing Club, and then similar threads to And Blossom at the Rose. I want to do, that's why I don't need to buy any more charts, because I want to do so many projects from these. So I just put all the colors together, and I have all these colors. See how lovely and luscious and beautiful they are. So now I'll put that Garrison Green on there, and I can keep all of them in one of my bigger stitching bags. I've done a video called like project bags I think, and shared my measurements. So I've got this that I've started. So all of that goes in those bags. So I like the 2 different sizes of project bags. I like the ones with the vinyl on the front, and I like those bigger ones. And again, I share all those measurements. But that's how I can have, I like to be able to see through the vinyl, but I also like where I have all these projects that I have so many things going, I can put it in one big bag. Now, I've been stitching a lot. I've been staying up really late at night, which is not so great, but I end up stitching a lot of times till 12:30 or 1 in the morning. I do sleep in a bit, but I've been having trouble sleeping, so I just thought, I'll just stay up late. So here we go. Look at this. Look at that. Aren't those beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so what do we have here? Now, we have these. So this is the loose feathers, summer, autumn, winter. The mailman parks across the street, and he does his sorting, and Riley is just sure he has to protect us. So in autumn, this is the one that had, whoops, I just dropped something. This is the one where I did the stitching box and that little pillow. So those 2 I did. So now this is the center part, and I wanted to stitch the alphabet so I could get to that center part. And I think in just one evening, but again, it was a long evening, I'm doing this on 36 count sand by Picture This Plus, and this is the called for, but this is a different one that I'm doing. But I wanted to get to the point because I want to stitch in the season. So I want to stitch the autumn part. So that's what I'm going to work on next. But also, I have this project that I want to do. So I have all the colors. This is in the winter one. So I want to do this. And I've chosen hog's bristle. And these are all those colors for this one. So we'll see if I get that done. But again, stitch what you got, girl, because I got plenty. So those are ones that I'm working on. And we have, let me check my phone. Yes. Okay. So, good grief. Okay. So in the last video that I did, I shared more details than you need on the stitching box. This is my latest stitching box and how much I am enjoying doing these. Look at how beautiful that is. Very simple to do. So this and this, I talked about too how I needed to primitize this because I just needed to do it. But these were two leftover projects because they didn't quite work out on the linen that I was using. So what is this project? This project did not get worked on, but because I finished that stitching box and it's in this pile, this is what I'm going to show you. Camelot's Rose Needle Book from the Heart Needle Art. And again, I haven't worked on it, but if you haven't watched my other videos, you'll see this part. And I'm not so happy with the color that I chose for that middle. This is the only called for color that I'm using, and it's Dried Roses from Silk. Who are you? Silk Gatherer? Silken Colors from the Thread Gatherer. It is a gorgeous colors right there. So that's what I've got. I'll probably put that away for right now because I really want to do fall stitching, but I also really want to get that done. So we'll see. Okay, so that's what I've been working on. But what I have been enjoying doing is when I finish something, I start something. And sometimes I just feel like when I start something, I start something. So don't always have a rhyme or reason. But here's some things that I have out, so I want to share with you. I keep thinking I'm going to do this at the beginning of a video, and I never do. So we're just going to do it now before I get too far, because this is, this is going to be a long video. Now, my one of my very first floss tubes that I did was about this stitching setup that I have. So it's called the Perfect Stitching Setup, and it is for me because I can only stitch on the linen because it's a magnifying light. But the problem is I was moving it, and this is like $40 light magnification glass. I was moving it by holding this and adjusting it, and I broke it, and I'm going to show you. But a friend of mine, one of my followers, showed me how she fixed hers. I bought another one, but I kept my old one, and I'm going to show you. So now I adjust it this way. I don't touch this to move it. So all this has been in a pile for a week and a half. That's why I must get it done. This is the sad situation that I got because it served me right. It's a mess now, but it's just a little piece of plastic holding it. It's not the high quality light. My BenQ, fantastic. But this is fantastic, but you have to be careful. So this is the fix that Kimberly O'Boyle came up with. I'm going to read you her writing, but she sent me pictures, and I only printed out one of them. So hers was different. It's black and white. It's the same light though. This is her fix that her plumber friend helped her come up with because she didn't want to buy another one and have the same thing happen. So I am going to, my husband is going to, he loves the fix up stuff. I am going to do this fix or something similar to it with mine, because I am going to use the broken one for my travel one, but I'm going to read you her idea. So she sent me the words to it, and then she sent me the picture. Oh, this is what happens because they've been sitting in the sunlight coming in. So this is Kimberly O'Boyle. Let's see. He took a piece of blue Tyvek. It's a rigid plastic tubing about 3 inches long, sliced it down the center like 2 hot dog buns, sandwiched the broken part, and then used the adjustable clamp on them, the kind that wraps around and you screw it tight to hold it, and really pushed it up so it's as far up as possible, then tightened the screws super hard. Well, it's been a good fix because it's been like that for almost a year now. I had also duct taped underneath, and I think it helps keep the tubing from sliding backwards down that widening part where it breaks. I don't want to get another one and have the same thing happen. So that was the fix that Kimberly shared with me, because I tried to duct tape it, and because of what it's made of, it's not working on its own. And I didn't have the super glue. I got the super fast drying glue. I'm going to give that a try, see if that works. But otherwise, then I'm going to do that fix. But I also may do them both, because if I go to use that and take it traveling and it breaks, that's not going to be any fun. Okay, so now it's been 2 hours that I've been talking, because remember, this is my second one that I've done recently. Now, when I wanted to share, because I have all this stuff piled here, I wanted to share with you a few things. I always like to share my tips. Now, when I'm trying to trim something up, and most of the rulers, the quilting rulers that I have, let me show you. I really like Creative Grid rulers, but now they're my second favorite. So Creative Grid quilting rulers are great. I do not like the yellow ones. I think it's Olfa. Can't stand those. I want to be able, the lines on Olfa are like black and yellow. I can't see very well through it. Well, this one, because of these are all little grips on this side, this is great when you're quilting, but when you're trimming a cross stitch pattern and you need to see through it, these are the best of the best. I am now replacing this one. You can't see, it's backwards anyway. Nope, you can't read it. Quilters Select. Why do I keep trying? Quiltersselect.com. You can get them on Fat Quarter Shop. It's Alex Anderson. Frosted. I usually don't like the frosted ones. These are the best of the best. I love them, and I have quite a few. But I want to get now like a 6x6 or 8x8 one, because this isn't always big enough. But that way I can see through, yet I have those lines. So that was one tip that I wanted to share with you. Then the other tip, oh, that's where that is. The other tip is when I do the bottom part, let's take out the stuff that's in there. When I do this bottom thing, because I don't want to waste any space, so usually I would use I've got pieces of cardboard that are left from when I buy charm packs, pre-cuts. It's also on pads of paper, but there's a thickness to it. Well, I don't want to waste any space, so when I do, oh, I glued it down. So when I do this, I just get a piece of plastic, and we got this to do a squirrel guard on a bird feeder and never used it. So I just bought cheap template plastic. I would not make a template out of this. It's very, very thin, but it works great for this. So it is just a template plastic, super, super thin. So what I do is I cut out a piece, I measure the bottom, cut out that piece, and then I use tape. And when I did my last one, I said I used packing tape. I don't. It's just Scotch tape. I just wrap it like a present, and then you glue it down. You don't see all that tacky tape on the bottom. You just see it's there and it's glued down, and it's great. So I love to share because I like tips and tricks. I love sharing them with you as well. The other thing is I had shared like this little bell. I love, there's the light. I love these little bells. These were last year's at Joann's. I got these last year's at Joann's, and it was like almost right before Christmas. So I need to go. I like the round bells. I don't like the ones that have the edges on there. I'm just picky. But I like them, so I'm going to try to go back and get some more. They were not very expensive. Okay. So I have been itching to get back into quilting, and I've been itching to get back into wool applique. But I got to tell you, when my mind is tired or over-focused on other things, cross stitch is perfect. I sit down. When you're quilting, I'm pulling out fabrics. I need this table. I'm sitting down sewing. I'm ironing. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm all over the place, and I got to think. When I'm cross stitching, that's how I can do that till 1 o'clock in the morning. I sit, I look, I stitch. I've got my magnification light. Gorgeous. I love it. But I'm itching to get back into quilting again. So the other day I had to go and get my car worked on, and so I thought I was going to be staying there for just a short time, but ended up I got shuttled back home. But I had taken some old magazines, and I was looking through them and just dreaming about quilting, because that's what I have done for years. And so I'm itching to get back into quilting. I started hand quilting this because I'm got so many hobbies, and I love this new cross stitch lifestyle that I'm in, but I also miss the other things that I'm in. So we'll see how I go back and forth. But last night, instead of cross stitching, I sat down and I did hand quilting. So I'm enjoying that. Did you want to say hi? Nope, he wants to go outside. Okay, he comes up and he taps me with his nose. I wanted to share something with you. I'm going to be sharing a book with my dad. My dad, I shared this with, I have a book called A Bit of a Chat. And I have this book, it's of my mom, that my dad made it for my mom towards the end of her life so she could remember people and things, and it was just wonderful for her. My dad shared it with me. I'm going to share it back again with him. But I wanted to show you something, and it's such a neat thing for older people to have these pictures. It was great from my mom. Oh, look at this. I just saw this. This is my mom's hand. She always loved a lot of my rings. I wanted to show you a picture. My mom loved silver rings. So this is her hand and her youngest grandchild's. But look at, she loved thumb rings too. I can't do thumb rings. I tried one of her rings last night, and she had very, very large hands, and I've got much smaller hands. But I wanted to show you because I think, you know, as we're showing things, you've got to be able to notice things. So this is her ring. This is her ring. This is her ring. This is her ring. But all her other rings are way too large for me to wear. I keep trying them. But I wanted to show you something, and I'm not going to cry. But this is a picture of my mom. But look at the rings. Maybe you can see them, maybe not. But this is, so these two rings that she has on her pinky are the rings that I wear. But that's my mom. And I got to think of her, like that. Everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. This guy, I shared about this on the last video. This is my son, Jake, but this is WC. So this is WC. Oops. And I shared about him before, but since I have the book now, that's the WC. Stories about him, but I'm not going to go into that now. Anyway, I wanted to share those with you. The anniversary of her death is coming up. A lot of anniversaries coming up. Very hard. It's hard. Got to walk through it every year. What else do I want to show you? As I was cleaning, and that's why I did a bit of a chat, I found a picture of my grandma, my favorite grandma. This is my Grandma Brown. And yes, it's all water dyed, water stained, but this is her. And I want to put it out somehow. I am not sure. Does anyone know is this fixable? I don't think it is. And there was a second one, but it was broken. I don't know. If anyone knows, if you could let me know, look in the comments. But this is my Grandma Brown, my favorite Lillian. Lillian Down, this is my dad's mom. She was my favorite grandma. So it was so neat. So I was saying, when I did this, that was on the pattern, 1806. And this was Country Rustic Primitives. On the last video, I'll share about that one, because that's where I talked about it. But I was wishing, then I found, and she was born in 1904. So I thought, oh, I should have written 1904. But I have, there is a, am I going to be able to find it in this pile? Yeah. Okay, so these colors remind me of my Grandma Brown. Maybe it's because those are kind of those colors. I don't know. That's cool. Maybe why? Maybe that's what reminds me of her. I don't know. It just reminds me of her. So I am going to stitch this one, and I started it, but I got off on the linen, and I didn't want to stitch the whole thing and be sorry that I had cut it too close. I'm going to stitch this one in honor of my grandma, because this is what the Blackbird ladies, Alma and Barb, I don't know which one, maybe does, oh, by Alma. This was a Quaker family registry, so I'm going to put my grandma's information here. So I just wanted to show you that. But also, like, look at those colors. So very special. But that one's coming up that I'm going to restart again. That's why that one's out here. Okay. And share something with you. So for those that stay to the end, here's what I've been doing. I used to love to cook a lot. And that's how, when I was telling my friend, when I was cleaning out my room, I shared pictures with her. And she has only known me for the last 4 years, maybe. And so she did not know. Anyway, when I got married, the first year I got married, I gained 100 pounds that year. And so she said, whoa, is that you? And I said, yeah, I used to love to, or I was a great cook. And she said, I thought you said you hated to cook. Well, I don't like cooking now, but I loved cooking then, because actually I baked and I made casseroles and I ate everything that was bad for me, but it was delicious, and I gained weight. But so I don't really care for cooking anymore. I love baking, but not a good thing for me to do. So when I cook, I like to make big batches of stuff, and my husband loves chili. I love chili. So I just wanted to share with you a recipe, kind of a recipe. I do what I call peasant cooking. I don't follow a recipe. I put in what I feel like. But I wanted to share, since small business is amazing, a friend of mine gave me this gift at Christmas time, and it's from Etsy, and it's from a company that does organic seasonings in Grand Junction, and that's where my friend lives, and that's where I will have now this stuff shipped to her house, and either I pick it up when I go out to see my dad, that's where I travel through, or I have her bring it out when she comes out to visit her mother-in-law. So this is called the Happy Eater, organic seasoning. So if you think about organic fruits and vegetables, well, when you're eating seasonings, that is a lot. It's concentrated. So that's where years ago I switched over to organic. So this was a neat gift box that she sent me one Christmas. Well, now I just buy the refill packs, much less expensive, and then I just fill them up. So it's the Happy Eater, handcrafted spice blends. So my favorite ones, my first favorite is the ranch. I get a lot of this. I use this for a lot. My second favorite is the taco seasoning, and then I love the Italian seasonings. So I buy multiple bags of these. But again, it's Etsy, handcrafted, small business, organic. You can have it sent to you. So again, this is it. And I just wanted to share with you how I make my chili, because I make a big pot and it's fantastic. And then sometimes I'll mix cheese in it, sometimes I'll mix sour cream in it. But let's see if I can, I should type this up if I'm good. This is what I put in. I do 2 pounds, and I get the I either get the ground beef at Sprouts that doesn't have any antibiotics used on it, or I get the grass-fed. I try to get the highest quality, organic, pasture-raised stuff. So this is what I do. 2 pounds of ground beef. And when I'm cooking that up, I chop up onions, garlic, and bell pepper, organic. And then sometimes I'll put chopped zucchini or cauliflower rice. Then I will put a lot of the taco seasoning and the ranch seasoning in. Then I add in water, but I will use, all these are canned, and again, organic as much as I can, all kinds of beans. I love black beans the best, pinto beans, kidney beans, great northern beans, whatever beans you want. Then even Rosarita has organic refried beans. I put 2 cans in last time and it got really creamy. Then I put in canned tomatoes, canned green chilies, and then I have a Trader Joe's enchilada sauce that's fantastic. And then I'll just add whatever water I want to, and if I have other things I want to add and throw in like pepper, I will do that. But it has been, now that we are coming into the fall, I make the big pot of it. And today, because I made a big pot, I'm going to need to put some in the freezer, and it freezes okay. But my husband loves it and I love it. And it's Etsy, it's small business, so that's why I wanted to mention that. So if you want to support them, and if you want to get organic, top of the line seasonings, you can have them sent to you. So I've been talking a lot today. So now I can, now I'm going to show you, because I really want to stop these after an hour because I get so tired, but I have got to clear this table off. So as I've been sharing about my Stitch What You Got, and as I've been sharing about my transitioning from the hunter-gatherer in my first year of cross stitch to Stitch What You Got and just use what I have because I have so many hobbies, I made a choice. There's some patterns, there's some charts that I wanted. And most of the time I'm thinking like, okay, so what can I drink? What do I have that's like that so I don't need to buy it? But there's a chart. I have been wanting the Noel sampler from Brenda Gervais for a long time. And even though I bought this one, so I did buy this one. So this one is Christmas Rose by Blackbird Designs. I bought this and I thought, okay, so I don't need Noel's sampler. I've already got this kitted up, ready to go. I just need, see, that's why I need to make a project bag for it, because I don't have another Christmas project bag. I love this. It's very small, so I can get this done quickly, and I love how it looks more primitive. Well, Brenda Gervais deers are just adorable. These are nice deers, but they're just kind of plain. There's just something about Brenda Gervais deers that are amazing. They're whimsical. Well, I really like this being primitive. I could use that yellowish linen, and this is DMC, so I could do it nice and simple. But I thought, well, I've got affogato, and I already had it. So I had ordered this back in April, I think. Yep, back in April, affogato. That's going to be perfect for that. So I'm going to make it a little bit more prim. And then I just saw somebody on Instagram that had done one with the variegated for the berries, so I'll check that in. So I had gotten a bonus for doing a job that was a farther drive, and I said, okay, I'll do it. And so the guy I worked for said, okay, so I'll give you a bonus. So I took that bonus and I bought 2 charts. And then I did, because it was a bonus and it was like free, I saw it as free money, fun money. I did a spur of the moment purchase. I had seen this before, but I saw it and I thought, I want it. And I thought, okay, my fun money. I love Santa Clauses. And I have Christmas at Winterberry Farm, and this guy looked so much like it. So I just bought it, and I'm going to use my hand-dyed linen. So that's my thing, is I'm not going to buy new linens right now. That's the plan. I'll use the linens that I have. But then as inflation is, the gas prices are killing me right now. So all my fun money is now pretty much gone. and using that just for groceries and stuff. So the other day I saw on the news that cotton prices had gone up, boom, considerably. And I thought, well, I don't need to buy any clothes. I've got enough clothes. And I thought, oh no, thread is made with cotton. My over-dyed cotton thread. The prices are going to go up. I must get some more. I'm doing prepping. My husband has wanted to do that for a long time, prepping for emergencies. So we're preppers now. And so I've been the one doing it. So we work together and I do the research. I go out and get it generally, or I order it. And so I thought, well, I'm prepping for emergencies. This was my prepping. So this was not part of my bonus, but this was part of my prepping. So I ended up, it was like $125 worth of threads. But what I did is I thought, well, I have a lot of charts and I could just use DMC, but I love overdyes. And these are my favorites. And so what I did was I went through one morning, the morning that I saw that on the news, I thought, whoop, I went through my threads, and there's Blackbird uses a lot of the same colors, and so do many of the designers. And then I'm seeing, as I'm stitching a lot and kitting things up, I'm seeing threads that I love to use over and over and over because these are my colors. These are my colors. So I just went through and I thought I only got a couple new ones because I wanted to kit something up. But other than that, it was just using the threads that I know I love. And when I did embroidery, that thread lasted a long time because you're just doing the outside. Well, that's the other thing I like about 36, 1/2. When I use 32 count, I do 2/2. So now I'm thinking with that mind of conserving and being more frugal. So stitching on 32 count is going to go through twice as much thread as stitching on 36 count. So I am even taking that into consideration because as I'm getting into the prepping for emergencies and the frugal living and the tiny house living, I shared about that on my last video, and simplifying, I'm also looking at conserving and going more frugal. So that's why I bought all these. But it was what I wanted to do. So this is mostly what I did, and then I'm going through a lot of needles, and then my needles, because I leave a needle with each project. I think Pat's favorite needles, I think those are my favorite needles, but they're out of stock often and they're more expensive. So I ended up buying, because this is prepping for emergencies, I got 2 packs of 26, 2 packs of 28, the tapestry needles. So that's it. And then part of that order, part of that order is I also got this. I've never gotten a pineberry, but I had seen so many people stitching this and I wanted this last Valentine's Day and I didn't get that. So I thought if I only get one Valentine chart, I'm going to get this one. So I got this one and I'm using what I have. So this is part of that conserving. Part of the conserving is I thought, okay, so it calls for, well, whatever it calls for, I'm using what I want to. So I'm looking at what I want to stitch with. So I looked through. So I'm trying to use up stuff I have. And so I decided this is what I'm going to do. This was a small piece I was testing. So this is my test that I get. So little pieces, they're like $6.50 on 1, 2, 3 stitch. This is 36 count beach brew linen. I got it. It's a small piece. I really would have rather used my flax. Flax has flex. I like those flex. We are not going to get a good, okay, it's just not going to be a good one, but there are little flecks as if it's flax linen. So I would have rather used flax. You can see just a little bit different. So just a little bit different color. This is more solid. This is more, it's got the flecks on there. So I was thinking, oh, I would rather use this bigger one. But as I'm measuring and as I'm trying to conserve, this will take mostly this piece of linen. So I won't cut into a bigger piece that I may want to have for a bigger project. So that's just what I'm doing, and it's a part of gaining control. When life is out of control, I find something that I can control, And I am trying to be more frugally minded. It does not come natural. So the other thing that I did was I chose a red, and I have, you can see, I purchased some reds, but I looked through at some reds that I had already had. And when I was doing embroidery, I used to make them color fast in a certain way. They weren't really that color fast because I would get the thread wet, and I used a product called Retain, and you lost color. So I had all the older threads that I have are not, they've lost color. So this was a piece of cranberry or mulberry. I wrote it down. Whatever this was, I had a large amount of it. So I thought, okay, perfect. Long story. I always have a long story, but it's on this lifestyle that I'm engaging in right now. Not like excited and fun. You know, the lifestyle of buying whatever the heck I wanted. That was fun. I liked that. I was all in with that. But it's not practical for me right now. So this is my, oh, here's my stitching journal at the very bottom. At the very bottom. But I've shared with you enough, except here's another treat. Okay, I had purchased this 2 years ago. These are wool threads. So this was a kit that I bought back when I felt I was rich. And it's wool threads. And then I thought, oh my word, why not use some of this for the cross stitch? So this is a perfect red. This is a perfect green. This is a perfect brown. That's a perfect gold. And I thought, oh, what can I find to stitch for Christmas? I've never cross stitched with this wool thread. So this is Aurifil 12 weight. This is an Aurifil 12 weight. Time Works, I'm reading it backwards. Time Worn Toolbox Designs. It's by Aurifil Wool Essentials by Doris Smith. So I don't know if you can see that, but it's my concept of stitch what you got, because I spent good money on stuff. Use it. So stitch what you got, girl. Okay, I'm pretty much talked out. So now I'm looking, because I am excited now. I can get all this put away while I'm drinking my coffee while it's uploading. And then I can stitch some project bags that I've got out. So that's what I'm going to work on. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate that you are part of my stitching family, and I love the gifts that you can give me is your words, and I love the comments. I'm slow to responding, but I always read them right away. So I wish my mom always told me, if you find yourself making excuses about something, do something about it or stop making excuses. So I'll stop making excuses. But thank you for your beautiful words and comments. Now I'm going to share with you what I call the good stuff, which is my walking out my faith journey and my love of my Jesus. So, because I had just done a video a few minutes ago, now an hour and a half ago, and I had done a good devotional, a good devotional. It was good for me, and it was what I've been walking out. But also, I had had this from last week when I was going to do my video. So, as I'm watching the news, I like to watch a lot of indie news, and now I'm watching the preppers, and I have playlists. So I have a lot of playlists. Some are private, some are just for me, and some are for you, if you want to. But I'm now, I have been doing this prepping for a year. We're just amping it up right now. But I have a playlist on some of the people that I follow on prepping. One of them is called The City Prepper, and it's good because we live in the city too. But it's nerve-wracking. I'm watching news, the news that I believe is truth, and I watch a lot of indie news sources from different countries, and it's very upsetting and alarming. And I see life, and I know what's going on around me, and it's upsetting and alarming, but I can't control it. I can pray about it, and I can stand for the freedom that I value, but I can't control the world. So that's why I've stitched a lot. But also, there's a lot of times I just have to stop watching upsetting things, and I'll listen to music. And I love Steph McLeod. I think that's how you say his name. He's Scottish or Welsh. I'm sorry. Maybe it's the same thing. Anyway, I love his deep voice, and I love his story, and I love his song. So this one is In Christ Alone. And I was listening to it I listened to it like 2 times in a row. And I thought, oh, I just wanted the words to sink in. And so I printed it out, and I wanted to read it to you. So this was what I was going to read to you a week and a half ago when I first tried to do a video. And I have my favorite music. So Steph McLeod is in there in one of mine, but they also have an album that he is with other people, and it's called Celtic Music, or Celtic Worship. So this is the lyrics: In Christ alone. In Christ alone my hope is found. He is my light, my strength, my song. This cornerstone, this solid ground, firm through the fiercest drought and storm. What heights of love, what depths of peace. When fears are stilled, when strivings cease, my comforter, my all in all, here in the love of Christ I stand. In Christ alone, who took on flesh, fullness of God in helpless babe, this gift of love and righteousness, scorned by the ones he came to save. That's what hit me. That's what really hit me when I was listening to it. Till on that cross, as Jesus died, the wrath of God was satisfied. For every sin on him was laid. My sin was laid on him on the cross. Here in the death of Christ I live. There in the ground his body lay, light of the world, by darkness slain, then bursting forth in glorious day. Up from the grave he rose again, and as he stands in victory, sin's curse has lost its grip on me, for I am his, and he is mine, bought with the precious blood of Christ. No guilt in life, no fear in death. This is the power of Christ in me. From life's first cry to final death, or to final breath, Jesus commands my destiny. No power of hell, no scheme of man can ever pluck me from his hand. Till he returns or calls me home, here in the power of Christ I'll stand. This song has meant so much to me lately. Just thinking about all the things that are going on in the world, and all the fears, and all the uncertainty, and all the things that we could worry about and that could harm us or could take things from us. Nothing can take me out of the hands of God. The hands of God, who sent his only son Jesus to die to pay the price for my sin, to rise again, and he will call me home in his time. And I was thinking about it. I have some other friends who think just like I do. And there are many, many people, and I understand it, and I engaged in it for a while, who all of a sudden death became much more real this last year and this year. And I was in fear for a while. And then I decided I can't work and do life and do that fear. I have other fears. But that fear of death that is gripping so many people even still, if I die, I go to heaven and I'm with Christ. No doubt in my mind. So I don't have that fear. I just have other fears. But I need to keep that in mind. Nothing can take me out of his hands. I can go through hardships. I can go through trials. Hard things could happen to us. But nothing will come to me that has not already gone through the filter of Jesus Christ and his wonderful loving hands. So I rest in that. That was what I learned from my mom, and now I live it out on my own. We all have to walk our faith out on our own. So I close with that. I pray that God would bless you, and I pray that you would choose joy nevertheless, as I choose joy nevertheless. All right, guys, goodbye. I love you.